Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign, welcome to November of 2023. It's a huge month for you because the sky is dominated by activity in the sign of Scorpio, your house of chunky money, by Lord Mars, the ruler of your sign or your sun or your moon, whichever way you go. It's going to be a huge energy because he's going to die in the heart of the sun and be reborn, and it's going to rebirth you in your money stories over the next couple of years, but it's starting this November. So let's dive into what this month ahead looks like for you, Aries. Now, first of all, just before we begin, just before I tell you all about it, a quick note. I'm so excited. I'm almost finished recording my 2024 All Signs videos. Each one is 75 minutes long on average, and they are going to be so useful for you. If you want to grab them, there's a November promotion, and it is all about getting that content pre-ordered before I release it in the third week of November at 35% off. So instead of the $88 for the 12 signs bundle, so you can listen for sun, moon, and rising, and it's going to be like hours and hours of content, 15 hours of content plus PDF guidebooks. You can instead get that for only $55. So if you want to get in the pre-sale order so that you get them as soon as they're done and you want to get that extra discount, please go ahead and grab it. I think you might really enjoy that as well. Giving away the rest of the 2023 All Signs bundles when you grab the pre-sale. You can get for free what your information was. It's 12 videos for all signs in 2023. Go back and look at what happened, maybe through the lens of astrology. Okay, so let's roll, guys. I'm so excited for me and you. I'm an Aries, sun and moon. So when I talk about Aries in the month ahead, I'm full of vim and vigor. Let's go into this step by step. First of all, let's start off before we do the chronology of the month by noting a couple of things. I'm not going to be covering new moon, full moons on average here unless it's in your sign. And this month there's lunations for the signs of Scorpio and Gemini. Because I do all signs videos that go into super deep dives about this, super deep dives on my channel. So you might just wait for that instead. In the meantime, let's talk about sign changes in the month ahead. Sign ingresses or sign changes lend a new flavor or tonal quality to what's happening in any given month. And we have 3 sign changes. We have Mercury moving into Sag, Venus moving into Libra, her home territory where she's quite strong, and Mars moving into Sagittarius in the third week of November after his long stay in Scorpio. So let's start off with a very touchdown note about what happens when Lord Mercury on the 9th of November through to December the 1st actually moves into the sign of Sagittarius. He's in debility here. We consider him unable to sort of get his act together and pay attention to those details that he's so famous for watching over. So now that he's in debility, you might think, is that bad for me? Not necessarily, because he's going to be in a fire trine to you, Aries, sun, moon, and rising people, all through the entirety of that time. So having Mercury starting November 9th, applying a flow to you, energy to you from the 9th house of God, from Dharma, from some Lakshmi luck and just luck in general, money luck, it's not a bad thing. But it can also be very connected, that 9th house Mercury transit, to the key word travel. That's because Mercury can be the patron protector of travelers, and the 4th house, the 9th house, is the house of foreign or far off lands, foreign shores of foreigners. So there may be a bit of travel going on for you guys between November the 9th and all the way through to December 1st. As a sun and moon, I will be traveling abroad at that time, so it makes sense for me. Mercury's good with legal details, and you might be paying attention to some of those things as well, but be careful when it comes to visas and passports and those sorts of legal minutiae, because of course Mercury's not in his best form in the sign of Sagittarius. That said, he's loving you up in a flow trine all the way through that time of November the 9th, all the way through to the end of the month. So you may as well just enjoy it. It could be lots of communication, phone calls, and news as well from people from foreign countries, or good news coming from the academic part of your chart, where you may be perhaps receiving good news about your applications to schools or studies, some kind of study, positivity, getting good grades, hopefully good stuff because it's flowing in a trine to you. Next, we have Venus. Now, Venus is going to move on November the 8th through to December the 4th into the sign of Libra. This is her home kingdom, and when she's there, she's a happy camper. Now, having her here in her home kingdom, very happy, benefits the world. We might get some peace in the Middle East or something, or thank goodness, or peace in the Ukraine-Russia story. You never know. But as she's moving through Libra in your sky, as an Aries, she's moving in the house of your significant others. That's your marriage partners, that's your significant business relationships partners, as well as the audience and the marketplace for your 10th house of career. And having her here is going to benefit you greatly. You may do great collaborations, partnerships, have a good time with the one you're with, come into a new relationship, Aries. If you are like looking for love and you got Venus moving to your 7th house, grab it. Just grab it. And you can also have love in a foreign country, or trips with your lover or your beloved into foreign lands during this whole time, because you see, Venus is going to be in Libra November 8th, while Mercury is in Sag, and they're going to form a flowing sextile to each other through the entire month of November. This really highlights a lot of luck here and a lot of goodness when it comes to business partnerships, love relationships, and outreach to clients and audience and marketplace, as it pertains as well to that flow to the house of foreign countries, book publications, academia, visas, spiritual philosophy, and more. Those are your Mercury 9th house narratives. For a lot of you, though, if you were single and you're looking for love, this Aries time frame could bring you a new love in a foreign land or through travel to a foreign land. That's about the end of the first week of November to the end of November. Now, as we move forward, I'm hoping my lapel mic is working. I'm trying something new for this. Trying something new today. Then we're moving into the Mars narrative, and in the backdrop of all this stuff I'm saying, Saturn will have turned direct on September 4th, and he's been plotting slowly to turn around, station around from a long 3 or so month stay, 4 month stay in the sign of Pisces. And I just want to remind you of that. If you've been dealing with trying to receive good, clear, solid gains in your revenue from foreign lands and shores, or even in reducing your addictions or self-undoing patterns and habits, and having a hard time getting alone or wanting to be more alone, this is now turning around as Saturn goes direct through your 12th house. Now, he's there for 3 years anyway, but just to let you know, there's more momentum there. So Saturn's now moving direct, and the reason I'm bringing it up right away is because Mars is Scorpio, right, is going to be in a whole sign flow to Saturn in your 12th house. And now there's forward moving Saturn, whole sign flow to Mars and Scorpio. Mars has been in Scorpio in October as well. But this time in Scorpio, he's in your 8th house of chunky money, resources and gains from other people, tax and tax benefits, things to do maybe even with inheritances or money bequeathed you or given to you from some strange chunky place. And now what he's doing this month is pretty powerful. He's capturing the whole month. I'm going to be talking a lot in the micro breakdowns about every freaking thing he's doing in the sign of Scorpio, but it's going to be very beneficial for you on the financial front. That's the bottom line story of what we're going to get to, especially if you want to renew, restart, or jumpstart, or dramatically change the way that you create longer term money makes money revenue, including your stock investments and your 401k. I literally, as an Aries Sun and Moon, just put some money into my stock account that I've left empty for years, afraid to go back into the markets. It probably will mean that I'll be tinkering very delicately with investments over the next couple of years. Now, I say a couple of years because of something very important this month of November. There's going to be a whole video on it. Mars will go into the heart of the sun. It's called a kazimi. It's on November the 17th, that is exact. And that's going to reset your life in 8th house matters and going to really change the way that 8th house money is working for you or not working for you in your life. In fact, he may try to reset that kind of money so that you are creating greater and greater reserves of money. Your treasure chest can grow in the next 2 years, particularly through the mechanism of your career. I can't tell you all about it now. That's why if you subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell for notifications. Much better idea. I forgot to introduce myself, Lori Lothe in Hellenistic Astrology, whole sign houses, all that. But then we'll be going into a really deep webinar on the kazimi of Mercury as well. So when you subscribe, you'll know all about it. Next. I would also mention that the 2 lunations of the month, the new moon is happening in Scorpio at 20 degrees of Scorpio on November 13th. Again, not only do we have a new moon, which is the sun and the moon co-joined there, but Mars in the heart of the sun. It's a real big reset in your money story that's going to emerge in the 6 months that follows this new lunation. And that is going to happen on November 13th. And then on the 27th, there is a full moon in Gemini. And just as a general theme without any depth in there, you're going to be shedding a big light on travel. You're going to be fulfilling something that is completing something you started with siblings, neighborhoods, your online world. things to do with your ideas and projects that you might have to write and communicate, especially in social media land. Things are coming to fruition or fullness here from things that you started to incubate or start in your third house way the heck back in June of 2023. Let's go ahead and break it down step by step. My goal is to give you a kind of a TikTok calendar here where you can clock the system of the month. And I'm not going to, like, it's a busy month. There's a lot of Mercury Venus content we're not covering. We're covering the big stories that really matter, not the fast moving transits. Let's get going then and talk about the beginning. I have a little cheat sheet here, and unfortunately my little cheat sheet is now somehow blowing in the wind. Let's fix it there. Let's start. Number one, we're going for November the 3rd to the 4th, just a sweet sky. Feels really positive. We got that Venus in Virgo moving through her sign of debility. Okay, so we don't prefer her there, but she's in your 6th house of health and work routines, especially getting over sicknesses or producing health. And she's going through that part of your sky, but she's opposite Neptune. I shouldn't say sweet. She's opposite Neptune on the 3rd and 4th. Watch out for confusion, delusion, illusion, uncertainty regarding things to do with addictions, especially, or with patterns and habits that are, your own on delusional undoing. That's a Neptune story in your 12th house. And Venus is like, I love my pleasures and, I'm going to take them anyway. And Venus is like, or your work routines may be not the most realistic and you'll have to revise those November 3rd and 4th. But then on the 6th to the 8th of November, now I really like this. Let's take a sip of nettle tea. We have Venus trining Pluto as a very nice power up for love and money. Love is the power of love, love and money narratives. Pluto's at the tail end of Capricorn. And now Venus is catching up to the tail end of Virgo. They flow towards each other. We also have a direct motion Pluto. So it's a very intensely positive energy. And it does suggest some kind of wealth glow up or love glow up, especially when it comes to deep intensity of communion and connection, like, the power of love, that kind of thing, higher love energy, but it's deep love too. It's deep and high and powerful. How do I love thee to the depth and breadth my soul can, reach. Now, to be really clear, when Venus is going through Virgo with all this power of love, power of money, she is in your work house. And that can indicate, of course, some of this is definitely a money story because Capricorn Pluto is your career house. So for a lot of you, Aries, this is a real financial power up or powering up in your work and feeling really good about it, but also experiencing a practical and sensible level of enjoyment and pleasure. Venus is in Virgo after all, where she is very, very practical. Now, November 11th through the 12th, we have Mars opposite Uranus for 2 days. Well, it's kind of explosive, right? Whoa, it's kind of a kaboom. And this is taking a cue on a synodic cycle when we had Mars conjunct Uranus last summer. Okay, in August, we had Mars and Uranus conjunct, and now we have this next phase of this. And so what we see here is that Mars is taking action in his home domicile of Scorpio. He's in charge. He knows what he wants. He's trying to clean up your chunky money, your investments, your resources, your shared monies with the spouse. And there's this bit of shock and awe coming through the sky, a little bit of oof from your earnings section, right? The money you're making, the possessions you're getting, your second house, these are all of a sudden very big in the narrative. And, it could be a surprise, and it could be a surprise loss. So be careful. This would be a warning bell on November 11th and 12th. If you're tinkering in any kind of risky investments, perhaps be more careful, because Uranus can bring you the unexpected in your possessions and earnings, and Mars can cut away anyway things that you don't need. So be a little bit more circumspect about your money stories. However, you could also have a shocking surprise, and it may not bother you, around your possessions and money. And it may be something that is just going to be a relief after all. Like you're like, oh my God, I didn't want that job anyway. Thank God I didn't get it, or thank God they fired me, or something like that. Because, second house is the resources, and you're getting a lot of this jolt here from Mars in your 8th house. Now, one last way it could work is inheritance money's coming your way, and it surprises and shocks you. You're going to take possession of money that you didn't think you were entitled to, or that you didn't imagine were coming towards you. That's an example where it could look like a positive jolt here. In the meantime, be very careful with your money in general, especially risky investments, around the time of the 11th and 12th of November. And you might be able to tie it together to the beginning of August of 2023 and what was happening in your sky then. Moving on then to November 14th to the 27th. Now that's a long time, right? That's a week, more than a week. That's when Mars is going to be getting into the heart of the sun. He's going to be burning up, combust, entering the heart of the sun on the 17th, leaving it. And we're feeling him between the 23rd to the 27th, 28th, 29th degree of the sign of Scorpio, tracking with that sun every day. Now, this makes Mars deeply invisible. Okay, deeply invisible. The actual kazimi is precise on the 17th, however, and that's the magical turning point where he's fully immersed in the sun and they become one in your chunky money house. It's going to be probably a time, because he's invisible, to not make major financial decisions or take major bold financial actions. In fact, Mars will be visible again around January 11th. Wait till then. In the meantime, let him do the excavation of what is needed in your 8th house, as he is going to get divine mission instructions from God, the sun, the soul of the universe, and get on it for you over the 2 years that follow by making changes that you need in the way you structure your longer term wealth. Because at the same time that he's doing this whole November 14th to 27th, he's in a flow relationship, a loving flow relationship called a trine to Neptune. There's something quite good in this. Neptune here is like, I'm working it over here for you to help create some visions that you've always had and ideal dreams around things to do with enlightenment, or things to do with revenue from foreign shores, or things to do with releasing your self-undoing. Neptune's a hypnosis god, and as he's been going through the 12th house since 2012, I bet you a lot of Aries, as I have explored quantum healing hypnosis, past life regressions, that kind of thing. Now, this can be very soul worky, so I just want to be clear. Even though he's dying in the heart of the sun, rebirthing your money story, you could download something, you could channel something, you could have a spiritual awakening happening, because 8 and 12 involve liberation. So you may be also at that window of darkened Mars in the heart of the sun, well, not darkened, but invisible to our eyes, be having a spiritual or occult masterful rebirth, or channeling Archangel Gabriel, or having some kind of thing happen like that, because Neptune can rule channeling as well as deep insights into past lives. So it's going to be a very mystical transit for a lot of Aries, and dead people may be coming through, and the spirits of the afterlife and 8th house matters could be very highlighted. But through your dreams at night, pay attention. You may have some amazing nighttime dreams that are going to be huge, big dreams, as the shamans would call it, during that window of time. Again, it's kind of in play all the way from the 14th to the 27th, but there's a particular really intensity as the kazimi happens on the 17th, give or take a day on either side. That's November. Then Mars will sextile Pluto. I told you it was a Mars month. He's your guy. He's sextiling Pluto. Yay, everybody. And he's still like moving in Scorpio. So he's at the tail end of Scorpio, last degrees of Scorpio, and connecting to a direct motion Pluto at the last degrees of Capricorn. Money, career, money, career, money, reputation, career, money. Okay, you don't have a career. Then what are you visibly doing in the world as a student or a retired person that people notice you? Because that's Pluto going through your 10th house, terraforming, transforming, revising, revisioning, challenging you since 2008 to get a new career that really is potently powerful and suits who you are. And now we've got Mars in a just amazing, still invisible rebirth exit strategy. And he's sextiling your Pluto. So Mars sextile Pluto can really be a powerful sense of leaning into something where you're taking powerful action and making powerful decisions about your career path, but you also may experience a Mars Pluto sextile as a real divine flow between the way you're able to perceive your next steps, Mars, and get a really deep dive insight into how this career path is supposed to look. Okay, as Pluto gets ready to leave for Aquarius next year, this is your last chance to figure it out. This is really important, especially for anybody born in the last Aries sun, moon, or rising in the last 10 degrees of Aries, okay? We have 24th to the 27th, 24 to 27th of the month. Mars is moving through the sign of Sagittarius. On the 24th, he ingresses into Sagittarius, as I mentioned earlier. And this is going to be a nice feeling for you. You're going to love it. Mars is in the 9th house of foreign shores and lands, court and court matters, third marriages, book publishing, and all good momentum to you here. Mars doesn't mind being in fiery Sag. And at the very end, it means you may travel abroad, you may have some powerful success in a legal or court or visa matter, you may have a lot of action around book publishing, academics, teaching and learning, big energies in the 9th. And then on the 24th to the 27th, while he's doing all of this, which is very good, he also comes into a hard aspect to Saturn, a square. And it could feel a little bit like, we always jokingly call it like parking brake and gas pedal are operating at the same time. So you really want to make some kind of bold momentum here. And don't forget you get him in Sag for 6 weeks. So just this little bit of a bump in the road on the 24th to the 27th of November could be that Saturn is saying, slow down around that foreign shore trip, slow down around your ambitious projects to do with publications, publishing, slow down on the super drive around academics or stuff like that, because Saturn can definitely be the break. And Saturn is the break from the 12th house of the foreign shores as well, or maybe even somebody in the back end of some situation. Saturn can be someone who doesn't have your back in the 12th house, like an elder enemy, or could be that an elder is in the hospital or something and you wanted to travel and now you have to go see grandma or grandpa, whatever. But there's kind of like, Mars would love to travel in the 9th house. I mean, he's already raring to go November 24th to the 27th. There's some obstacle here perhaps. And that's only in play from the 24th to the 27th, and then it's gone. And Mars is still not visible. He won't be visible until January. So remember that. So everything he's doing is kind of suspect. It's almost like, he can't really give us his full show when he's invisible. So be careful about overly pushing yourself to travel somewhere or to make some bold academic success story happen the 24th to the 27th of the month of November. Thanks, Aries, for listening, and hit that bell for notifications, subscribe, hit the like button. You guys know the drill. I will see you, hopefully some of you heard the beginning, where you can get my 2023 All Signs videos. I would love to have you grab them for like 35% off, which reduces the $88 for the bundle. And this is like more than 15 hours of content, and each sign has a PDF with a degree. You get a PDF with it, with the degrees and stuff, so you understand what I'm talking about. But more importantly, this content will give you guidance through the whole year. And I'm not ever going to give this away ever again at 35% off. I put a lot of love into it. That's my pre-order price. So if it interests you, grab it in the description box below. I think it might be something that's worth using for your navigation, especially since Lord Mars has rebirthed himself in your chunky money house. All right, thanks guys. On to the next sign. Be well. Have a wonderful month of November.